All with it.
Beautiful. All right. Well, welcome, keepers, to another Ley Love Down knowledge transfer session. Today we have obviously beautiful Billy, as always. We have Russell Taylor and Brad Spali from Greenclean. And I will be showing a little bit of your website in a moment. I met you both, well, I know of you both because we were all at the Cosmic Consciousness Conference in Uluru at the end of last year at the wonderful permanent harmony time of the ley lines, which was just phenomenal, one of the most amazing experiences. And I believe you were both going to be at the God, such a mouthful, Cosmic Consciousness Conference in December this year at Mount Tamborine, which I just can't wait for. I'm so excited. Before I show your website, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves and why you're here today? Maybe
Yeah.
start with you, Brad.
Yeah. Okay. So, and first of all, nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I started Green Clean about 2 years ago because I was sick and tired of the geoengineering and the weather manip, and I was
Yeah.
sort of trying to find something I could do about it. And I was calling in purpose at the same time, sick and tired of my ordinary job. And I found Urs who's from Germany, and I liked his tech because it was all about resonating with nature and helping nature. So we got our first nature harmony stations about 2 years ago in Sydney. At the time, there was a lot of chemtrails every day, pretty much, and not much rain at all. The creeks were dry, the grass was dying, the trees were dying, and very miserable energy as well. So we set these systems up, and I just saw the whole of Sydney shift, especially the area where I set them up. Me and my friends set them up close to each other. Within 2 weeks, I was like, wow, this is amazing. All the rain came back, lovely angelic rain. The sky was clearing. They were dissolving. The trails much easier. Yeah. So after that, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I need to get this out there. I need to do this. And so yeah, then I sort of organically found Russell, and Russell's been working with harmonisers and other etheric tech for about 25 years. Russell, do you want to introduce yourself there, mate?
Yeah, yeah. So I've been building the Slim Sperling harmonizers. I don't know if you've heard of them, Rachel.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, the caduceus rings.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do all the caduceus rings and the harmonizers, and I've been doing that for like, as Brad said, about 25 years.
Um,
Uh, just not from a business point of view. Mostly I was doing it. I was working as well, so I didn't need to do it for money. So I was happy to be making rings and experimenting, uh, and um, and I just let them. I just gave them away.
oh
That,
gosh.
that
Wow.
was just great. When I first came across the Sperling stuff, I was just thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled because I quickly made myself one up and gone, oh wow, this really works. And so so I continued to do that, and then I found out that Slim was dead. I've gone, oh beauty, let's bring him in. So we we just brought him in and had a really big long conversation with him while he was sitting on the couch with us.
Beautiful.
So that was sort of my beginning into harmonizers.
Wow. Wow. That's really cool. A little bit of mediumship there. Very nice to hear about.
Yeah.
Obviously, big part of my world. It's amazing,
Yes.
that there's no constraints, time or space when you're in spirit.
That's,
You're obviously a lot more dangerous to, dark forces that don't want you to share when you're in
Mm.
spirit. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. So what we're working with is orgone energy, and
Yeah.
orgone energy is the primordial life force energy or cosmic life force energy. Some may call it prana, chi, but it's also the ether. Russell, do you want to talk a little about the etheric? Oh,
Yep.
he's
Oh,
oh, there he is. Yeah.
It's disappeared.
I disappeared. I'm
We can
back.
still hear. We can we can still
Oh,
hear.
I'm
Well, maybe
back.
you talk, Russell. Well, I'll show the website so people have got something to
Yeah.
look at.
Thank you.
So,
All right.
yep. So basically, the orgone, or let's go to ether. So we all know the word ether. And ether is in many ways a primordial material that everything on Earth is made of. Completely. Everything comes from the ether, including the light. It's the interaction with the ether, between the ether particles, that actually create the very first photon. And from that very first photon, more photons join with that and become light. And so everything on the planet is light.
Love it.
Everything. And it all comes from the ether. Go on, Brad.
Our devices draw this life force energy in through the layers. It doesn't matter what device it is that we have. They all do the same thing. They draw in the energy, build it up, and then encapsulate it, build it up, and then it got no choice but to come out through the top in a vortex or a torus field energy. So that's what we're sending out to the sky, is nature's own energy, and on a much large scale. So, for example, this little 3.0 is a 3 kilometer torus field energy that sits in a Agni-Hotra cup that grounds the energy. And this is great for people's apartments or on the go in a camper van or whatever. This particular one is more of a concentrate beam. This is the orgone beam that does 40 kilometers. So that's great at physically dissipating the trails in the sky, but it's also neutralising the particles as they fall down. So as I'm not going to get into what's in the trails, but there's a lot of negatively charged particles, right, which are falling onto the garden or the water or to the humans, and it's becoming more neutralized as it comes down, so it's less effective to the environment, but also physically moving it along because that life force energy is strong in the area, therefore it flows, it moves it away. So yeah, as you can see on the map here on the screen, there's actually 20,000 of these harmony stations in the world. We're just the people that are doing it in Australia and New Zealand. ERS has responsible for bringing rain to the desert all over Germany, counteracting the engineering. And there's a lot happening in the space, including the activation of water. So we go along to the creeks and we ask permission to drop these borosilicate glass balls into the water, and they've been pulsed with a frequency. Therefore, they pulse and they send out a resonance to the water, which helps bring it back into harmony. Therefore, the water bodies can then connect with the rest of the ether. So trees and water bodies should be connecting with the ether. Russell, do you want to speak about what trees do?
Yep, I'll just go back one step and show you this. And that's steel wool, layers of steel wool and felt. And that basically is how the harmonisers are made.
Wow.
They're layers, layer upon layer, and there's 14 layers all up, 7 of each.
But lots of crystals, minerals, universal chip, and many other things that go into it as well.
That's right. And so on the beams, the carbon and the composite that the carbon's mixed with, they're all actually in layers, and they have more layers than we have in our devices, and so they work automatically as an accumulator.
Wow. Wow.
So an accumulator basically, energy is flowing all the time in all directions, and what happens is that as they hit the device, they penetrate it and get lodged in in the layers of the device. Now more come in and more keep coming in, and so eventually it builds up to the point where it then goes into the center and shoots and creates the toroidal field, the massive toroidal field.
So the science behind this is all from Wilhelm Reich.
Wow.
He passed away in 1957, but this book is called the Orgone Accumulator Handbook, and all the science which he proved, he had pictures of it, he had measured it. There was a whole bunch of science there, and they basically ridiculed him, shamed him, locked him up, burned his books, and just before he was meant to get out of jail, he was found dead. So amazing man, and we give a great credit to this man because we're very much carrying on his work about orgone. So it is different to orgonite. Um, Orgonite, generally those pyramids, also those cloud busters with the copper, they can be very dangerous because they've got no way of releasing the energy, and they build up so much energy they can produce DOR, which is deadly orgone radiation. Our systems are very much grounded, um, so they're safe. You can always use them. They're good for the body, they're good for the environment, and they're good for the weather. Um, any more questions, Rachel?
You taught me something I did not know, but have never heard of the deadly orgone radiation before. That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
door. Yep,
Wow.
yep,
So
Well,
that's DOR that has a positive charge. So as you're probably aware, our bodies require a negative charge. The
yeah,
Earth is a negative charge,
yeah, yeah.
right? So they've really messed our language up by saying, "Oh, that's really positive," where in actual fact, a positive charge is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So they really did a number on us on that one, and I don't know how I'm going to get people to start using it the other way.
The English language in itself is just appalling. It's just one big
yeah,
spellcasting,
Yeah,
tool.
yep,
We need to speak
yep,
Argia again or something along those lines. I don't really
yep,
want to learn a new language, but it would be beneficial.
yeah.
yep.
So you
Well,
obviously, I mean, you're both very intelligent. You know the physics behind it. Do you find
Mm.
it's difficult to sort of explain it to people? Like, do you get blank faces?
Initially, initially, everyone looked at me like I was nuts, and they sometimes still do. But I've learned how to articulate myself better. Even my understanding of what it is has grown because we're naturally skeptical.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I read this book I'm like, okay, wow, this is actually real science, except it all got destroyed. So
all his books
now,
were burnt.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's when you know
now,
you're onto something good.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So now people are becoming more and more aware to the etheric, to what's happening up in the sky, and I feel like it's the time where the change needs to happen. So people are more acceptable to it now. But so what we started to do is we started to build these devices and install them. We've got about 120 in Australia. We got called up to Norfolk Island during a drought, and they were shipping in water by the tank load, costing $300 a tank. So I went there, set up three large-scale activations with the locals, and activated the water. A lot of prayer and intention, and it literally started to sprinkle as we were doing this. And the locals were like, "Oh, that's not enough." I was like, "You wait, it'll rain." So I went back home, and then the local, he gave me a call. He's like, "Yeah, it's starting to rain, but it's still not enough." Anyway, now they've had so much rain, but nice sort of medium rain, not too heavy, where all their tanks are full again. The creeks are flowing. We've got before and after pictures on the Telegram group of how dry it was versus how green it is now. The same thing in Perth. We just got back from a workshop over there where we taught people how to make a cloud generator, and we got those in, activated all the water, and then surely enough, now it's starting to rain there again. So it's really good at bringing rain to the drought, the dry areas, but also in areas where it rains too much, like where Russell lives in the Northern Rivers. They've got heaps of manipulation, and
Mm.
it's just raining, 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 and they're very flood prone. Therefore, because the harmonizers are there, the orgone field is harmonizing all that torrential rain and causing less rain. So we actually haven't had a bad flood in any of the areas where there's a bunch of these. They do link up kind of like a grid. Like one of them offers great protection to that area, but the more there are in the area, the stronger the whole region gets full of life force energy. So yeah, not just rain, but also protection from flooding. There is the EMF component too, which helps with that. Um, Anything else there, Russell, that I may have missed?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that yeah, it's been raining like crazy for almost the whole time the units, but my units have been up and running. Now that I don't have a problem with because I live in a rainforest.
Yeah.
And guess what? It rains in a rainforest.
Yeah.
So I don't have an issue with that. We're a bit sick of the rain, but I'm also not wanting to get into manipulation like the others do. I think it's very important that we talk to the trees and allow the trees to make the decisions about the rain, because the systems clear the space between the trees and the clouds.
Wow.
All that dross from cars, from chemtrails, from all the different things, they stop the communication. So by having the orgone clearing the etheric space, they start to communicate. Now, we've also had a 7-year drought up here. So I think what's happening is that the trees are going, yeah, well, thanks for all the rain on the surface, but it needs to get deeper.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on. Or that's what I feel is happening. And so I'm just letting it rain.
Yeah.
We've just had 4 or 5 days of beautiful sunny weather. So that's been lovely.
This is
So
one of the things I get so excited about hearing about this, is because I think most people with a brain have a real issue with HARP and DARPA and the things that they're doing. Obviously, we would have normally ancient cultures, because they've been decimated, they're not doing the work that they could do normally or would do normally, because there's very few of them left and disbanded and disorganized and distressed. So I just, this is exactly what we need to hear about. Do you find that there is a positive effect, a negative effect, a good effect on the ley lines? It is,
yeah, so
because
let,
water and leys are so intrinsically interconnected.
let me tell you a story about that. We were installing some of the first ones up there in Northern Rivers, and we put one in Nimbin up a mountain there, and then another one for a friend of Russell's. And I said, "Oh, that's a lovely mountain there. What's that called?" She said, "Oh, that's is it Mount Blue Knob, I think?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, that's a portal, and it's a lava tube that goes through there and over to that other place where you put a harmony station." And
Yeah.
I just got flutters all over my body, energy flowing from my body, and I thought, "Geez, are we being guided to put these on specific spots, not only to help the sky and the land and the weather, but to help the land?" And then Russell goes, "Yeah, well, probably." So anyway, I had this feeling that we were doing that, and I did an install up in Taree for a guy, and he goes, "Look, I'm good at putting people together, and you need to meet this lady, Hayley Wallace." So I met Hayley, and we started doing experiments. So we did multiple experiments about the energy of a piece of land or an area, and then after installation, what happened? And surely enough, the ley lines, if we put them on a positive ley line, they came right back up again, into the best, vibration or energy that they could be. So yes, it is healing the land as above, so below, and that just opened up a whole different chapter for us, and I guess that's why we're here with you today, because
Yeah,
of that aspect as well. So yeah,
that's just beautiful. And we love Hayley. We've spoken to Hayley on a knowledge transfer before, and I've done her course, and it was absolutely life-changing. One of the
yeah,
best things I've ever done.
I've got a course here. She's running on the weekend, so looking
Oh,
forward to that myself.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you'll have fun. You'll have lots
Thank
of
you.
fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I did her course maybe a month ago. So I found that course, even though I know a lot of stuff already, I found that just priceless.
Mm.
My
Absolutely.
eyebrow twitches now when I go past cell phone towers. I won't know until the eyebrow starts twitching. The whole look around, it's like, oh yeah.
So
Well,
before you
can
go,
I just
Russell.
in relation to the putting them on the positive ley lines or negative ley lines, whatever you want to call them. The in relation to that talk you gave the other day about the memorials.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
been contemplating that since I listened to that talk, And I'm going, oh, we just got to put the right intentions in. When we put them on positive ley lines, we just need to put more intention in to release the people that are stuck in those portals.
When I came to that conclusion, and other people have obviously come to this conclusion before, that it's a soul trap, but it was like a mind-bending thing for me to finally realize it. And I grew up on an alignment. My house was on one of those alignments my father owned. I was given a download within 2 weeks. The right people would come in at the right time. So what you've just said there makes everything makes sense. So that, yeah, I have no doubt that those souls will be released. It has to be happening over a reasonably, not a long period of time, but it can't happen all at once, because like you were talking about toroids before, that the way that I see it, we've got the earth and we've got, the heavenly realms come up like an infinity symbol. We've got an energy flow through the heavenly realms and an energy flow through the dark realms, and they keep those souls trapped to stop the energy flow. And it stops the earth from evolving and going up in frequency. That's the way I see it. When we start to do the releasing work, and it's already begun, that energy flow will be more natural and normal, and the toroids will move in a more natural flow. So, it's amazing. You can only be suppressed for so long. They can only keep doing their things and forcing these alignments into straight lines for so long. There's a couple of great channels if you guys are interested in any, geocartography. Dirich Nos Domino on YouTube, and a guy called Jeff Lewis on YouTube. Brilliant, brilliant, absolutely amazing, like mind-bending when you look at it, because the more I look, the more I realize I know nothing.
Mm, mm. Yeah, well, we're certainly all just learning, aren't we? There's so much to learn. And yeah, I wanted to touch like on before what you said, I guess even me, I've been caught up in the whole anger and frustration of what's happening in the world. And then it's like, well, you can meet it with that energy, or you can start to create our own reality.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's work with nature. Let's call in the nature spirits, the elementals, and let's change this and make it happen for the highest good. So that's what we're doing. That's the intention, is to really heal heal the earth. And yeah, I will speak about the water activation part of it as well, if you don't mind. We've got, as I mentioned, we've got that little ball, but we've also got these blocks for the ocean, and we put them in the ocean to send out that resonance to structure the water so it can become harmonized and generate clouds. So we went over to Margaret River, and there was just sun every day, blue sky, a fair bit of haze, but no clouds and no rain. So we put one of these blocks in and we hung around for the afternoon, and you could just see the clouds start to form. So these balls and these blocks have that ability to form clouds and rain when needed, of course. So yeah, that's a huge part of it. We are also getting into the structuring devices coming from America with from Russell Anderson, Clayton Naughty, and Mikael, who actually carried on Dr. Emoto's legacy.
Oh,
We're on a we're on a podcast with her, and she's super stoked about what we're doing over here, and they're sending some devices over here for us to further the work. So we want to get into the physical cleaning of water bodies, those dirty creeks and rivers and lakes and old mining sites and stuff. We want to be able to take our devices there and clean the water right up. But also, we want to go out to the desert, to the dry areas, and bring rain again, because apparently the Russell, you might be able to back me up here. The indigenous spoke about the lands becoming more green again.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And that also is part of their dream, is to actually bring the trees back to the desert. And they can see it. They can see it happen. They actually can see it. So that's another part of that rainbow serpent event. And so went home and I've gone, right, I need to build something that doesn't need maintenance, that just sits there and works. And so I've got a 2-part unit. And these are what we call the desert dwellers.
Wow.
And so at some point, when the timing's right, we'll get out to the desert and we'll plant these where the serpent tells me to plant them.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. You know, would you stick that on a big piezoelectric rock, or would you stick it in the ground?
Well, I don't know where they're going. They told me that they would tell me. They would, you know how to build them. You go home and build them, and when you come back, we'll tell you where to put them.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's very exciting.
Unfortunately, a lot of these things cost money, so we are a non-for-profit, and we do like to put, most of our money that we get back into the greater picture, like going out to the desert, hiring or borrowing an RV and doing this sort of work. We have done a few things like this so far, but we do intend to do a lot more. So that's the bigger picture, is to bring back the oases to the desert, to clean up the water bodies, and just to normalize the sky, because it's still going on. Like it's, almost every day I'm still watching what they're doing, and it is moving a lot quicker, and we do have much more balance now, but we won't stop until it's finished.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And the beauty of what you're doing is you're giving people a tool, because people feel so hopeless. They know what's going on. If they're smart enough and they've worked out what's going on, with all this other stuff that's going on, and they work out that, the government doesn't love them. And,
No.
then it's like, well, what can I do? And they feel helpless. So this is giving them tools. And this is what I love about Hayley, because she gives people tools to do, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to do this work. Obviously, I don't know what it costs you guys, because clearly these are a little bit more complicated than getting a crystal chip and sticking that in the ground with. But I love what you were saying about intent, because the intent behind it, this is what ancient cultures have worked with forever. That intent.
That's right.
Just intent.
And speaking of intent, these are just tools to amplify intention as well.
Fantastic.
Yes, there's a scientific resonance component, but they're great amplifications of intention. So we're actually bringing out a new rainbow light beam, and this beam is all about intention. So amplifying intention for the light workers. It's made slightly different to our Weather ones, and that's it there. And we're going to actually gift you one, Rachel,
Really?
to say, to say thank you for all the lovely work you do. And it's basically a chakra system inside, and anything that you're doing, whether you want to take it to a site and just have it there to amplify what you're doing.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's amazing. Yeah,
I
cool.
had a come to me from a beautiful friend called Sarah Seeger, who does the meditations, or one of the beautiful Sarahs that do meditations for us. And she gave me this dreamt prophecy about when I get the rainbow, when I see the rainbow.
Yeah.
Waiting. I've seen a few rainbows, but I wasn't sure if that was the message. But I think I just got the message. So thank you. So Sarah,
you guys?
I hope she watches this.
Have you guys been seeing all the double rainbows?
I saw one yesterday that I was sure was upside down, but it wasn't. But a lot of depictions of rainbows show it red at the bottom and purple at the top, but this one was the other way around, and I was getting confused. Which way is normal? It felt odd to me. It looked not right.
So there's been a lot more double rainbows, right?
Wow.
And apparently there's a double rainbow prophecy that the indigenous tribes, both the natives and the Aboriginals, spoke about. I heard this from Peter Maxwell Slattery, and it's about the new age. It's about the beginning of the end. So it's like the new time where the new way is finally coming into being. So apparently that's the sign of the double rainbow.
Well, there's so many signs of that. I call it the golden age coming, which is part of the Yuga cycle. But, obviously Rory Duff talking about us coming into this permanent harmony time. I mean, everything seems to be pointing to this time. And from my perspective, again, from that medium perspective, and obviously I had a pretty rough upbringing. Being connected in through those horrible experiences as a child means you have a connection to a sense of what the dark is doing, and I definitely feel that they are going down and they're not happy about it. And they're trying to kick us on the way out, and they're doing a lot of kicking, but it's more of a tantrum, a toddler tantrum than something scary that it used to be. So I think we're really definitely going in the right direction. So, Billy, did you have any questions, darling?
I was just going to ask in regards to like you sell all your stations and all that stuff. Do you offer workshops around the country or just where you're based?
Yeah, yep, we do. So we got one in the Northern Rivers happening on solstice, not this weekend, but next. There's only 4 spots left for that. The next one will be down in the Gippsland area in Victoria. So I'm going to open that up after this one in the Northern Rivers. And yeah, so that's all about teaching people how to build a cloud generator, which is the NHS 2.0. It's the big one on a pole. It's this one here. So
Brilliant.
you'll learn how to make that. You'll learn about the etheric. You'll learn about orgone, and you'll end up going home with one. So yeah, it's great value and a good community event. Lots of like-minded people show up to these things. So yeah, we're excited to be offering those as well as shipping devices out to people who want them.
Awesome. Well, when is that? Because I'm in Victoria, so that'd be perfect.
Yeah, okay. So I think we'll wait till it gets a bit warmer and come down after winter, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, we definitely need some rain down here, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Whereabouts exactly, or what region are you in?
I'm like Albury Wodonga at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yep, yep.
Okay. I'm heading down that way next weekend. So yeah, I've heard there hasn't been a lot of rain down that way.
No. So it'd be very exciting to get more rain.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
even just to like get people to educate themselves as well. That's why I love you guys. Even on your Telegram group, like showing people what you guys are doing and the results, like
Yeah,
firsthand. Like that's what
yeah,
people need. They need to see how it all works.
yeah, yeah.
And
All the proofs there, all the
yep,
questions, all the answers, all the pictures of every install we've done. So yeah,
yep,
that's NHS Greenclean on Telegram. Yeah.
yep. Because we've definitely got enough fear going around. So it's yeah, we definitely need just solutions and change in our mindset. Like, yes, we see it in the sky, but it doesn't have to be part of our reality. We can change that with intention. That's what I've been doing a lot. Like changing my surrounding weather with just my intention and, talking to people around me, and you can do it. So it's
100%. There's
super. Yeah.
Just
there's
just a little
people.
just a little story about intention. We used to live in Byron Bay, and we were up on the hill, and we had a cyclone, and so we had like 110 knot winds hitting the front windows of our house. And my wife went down, and when she put her hands on the glass, she got the feeling that her hands were going through the glass. Now,
Wow.
that's a classic sensation that people have in a spin field, because of course a cyclone is a spin field. And when you get a spin field, i.e. toroidal field, all of those different things, what happens in that spin field is you get a distortion in the space-time continuum. Now, when that happens, they've found pieces of grass right through panes of glass, and they're not broken. Nothing's broken.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
4x2s through lampposts, 4x2s through steel girders that are like 10 mil thick.
This is Philadelphia experiment type stuff, isn't it? This is weird. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's really standard. So my wife's gone, oh, hold on, this is too much. And so she just straight away picked up a ring, pointed the ring at the storm, and spoke through the ring and told the wind to stop or to calm down. Well, it did instantly.
Oh, wow.
instantly went to like maybe a 10-knot wind instead of 110. And
Oh, that must have freaked her out.
well, it was a little bit freaky. And so overnight, the wind came back up. And then in the morning, we've gone, come on, we better do this again, make sure we weren't just tripping. And we did it again and it stopped. So we had, and again, the rings are intentional devices, right? So you put your energy through the ring and it enhances it. So
are they copper, Russell?
Yes. Yeah. They're made in a very specific way, cut to a very specific lengths. And so they're magic. They really are magic rings.
Are you in a specific mindset when you're making them?
Yeah. Well, I'm always I used to always do different chants, and as of late, I've decided to use my greatest God aspect, and so I'm just pushing that energy out into the wire as I'm twisting it.
That's fantastic. That's beautiful. Yeah. And this is the thing. Intent is our most powerful tool. And so very few people realize it.
That's exactly right. We need to be more focused on our intention, because the other thing is the entire universe rearranges itself to accommodate your picture of reality.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And this is why, keeping away from the fear porn is so important, because that's being pumped out, endlessly, so that we'll be stuck in that vibration.
Yeah. Not going to happen. No. Not on my watch. We're off.
And stop watching the weather channels.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're never right anyway.
No, they're hopeless. But yeah, like for an example, I was at a festival and it was all women's festival, quite a lot of women, and it was raining, and I was like, nah, we're gonna change the weather here. And so I was doing the sound, so I had access to the speakers and everything. I made a sunshine playlist, and I put that on, and I just got out and started dancing and singing, and people were joining in, and within a minute, whole clear sky just around the festival. And then as soon as one person came in and started talking about the rain, it's going to rain, the rain came.
Yeah.
Well done.
So
yeah, and a lot of the sorry, Rachel, were you going to say something?
No. I was just complaining.
A lot of the time, these fear-mongering weather people, and as well as the just the weather reports, they're putting out almost like an agenda. They're like, okay, there's going to be a heat wave today. It's going to be 38 degrees, and then that broadcasts to the mass population, and they're all going, oh, it's going to be 38 degrees. I'm like, no, it ain't going to be 38 degrees. It's going to be 34 degrees, and because everyone hops on that idea. And surely enough, it becomes created. So it is important that we don't buy it when they put that out there again. No chance. Through prayer or intention or just our own sun dance, that we can change that idea.
Yeah, and they do the same in Hollywood to predict or to project, to get collective consciousness to project towards cataclysmic events as well, weather events and things. Yeah. It's infuriating. So, it's best to keep away from those sorts of movies as well. They might be really entertaining, but it's a really bad idea.
Yeah. So I will mention there's one thing I forgot about, which was the orgone for the body. So we've spoke a lot about the weather and intention and all that sort of stuff, but these are actually powerful healing devices. All our devices can draw energy out of the body, as well as this little guy here, which is our special Ursa balls on a ring. So I had a rolled ankle that was really swollen, and I stuck this on overnight, and then in the morning there was a ring of energy, like where it just sucked all the energy out. You can even put it on, I get sore shoulder, remove the inflammation in the shoulder. So orgone devices are good for healing the body as well, and that is another part and reason why people get them, not just for the weather. Russell, do you want to speak about the healing aspects at all?
Yeah, so it's orgone. It's life force. So by pointing these devices at yourself. So a quick example: we were in Melbourne. We're very sensitive to. We did Canberra, so we ended up being very electrosensitive.
Yeah.
After that, after we got over all the trauma. And anyway, we're in Melbourne, and my wife woke up in the morning and her whole arm was numb, her left arm, and it started to move over into her chest and her breast. It's going numb, and she's just grabbed this, and she just put it under her breast and just stood it there. And then I said, right, we've got to go. And it managed to alleviate all the pain and everything from her what appeared to be a heart attack.
Good God.
So,
Yeah,
and
wow.
I think that was probably associated with a really gnarly set of either underground water, earthquake lines, or a negative ley line running straight through their house.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So just fantastic for healing, and these I'm building these more for healing than I am for the weather, but they completely work on the weather.
Beautiful.
Healing the weather.
Any help with headaches and migraines and things? Have you ever had a chance to test that?
Absolutely. And
I have, yeah.
and what works really well on migraines and headaches is the rings.
Okay.
Because you can actually put the ring in your hair and pull your hair through it, and you got a ring on your head and nobody knows.
Brilliant.
So I'll put, when I send you the beam, I'll put a few rings in for you.
Oh, that'd be lovely. That'd be lovely. I've got a client
Yeah.
this morning who's really just she's suffering. And she's very sensitive, and something like that could really help.
Yeah. And so my question straight away is, how much salt and what salt? How much water and what water?
Oh, yep. Okay. Yep.
They are probably the two most important questions you can ever ask someone who's not well.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
the water thing is huge. I mean, most people just think water is water, but water's molecule. If it's out of structure, the body has to put in energy to bring it back into structure.
Yeah.
As you guys probably know, we're 70% water. So it's so important that we're drinking good water, and most of the time good water doesn't come out of the tap. Even this bottled water, it gets all the microplastics. It's not in a container that structures it. So people, it's really good to have some sort of special container, some sort of device, or even just say "I love you" to the water. That helps. So, yeah, very important thing about the water.
I've been drinking carbonated water for years. I can't drink flat water.
Yeah,
Mm.
you
I
drink
think it
the.
wakes it up.
Just stop it.
You
But look,
mean like the
when the,
soda water?
Yeah. There's something about
Yeah.
the sensation that wakes it up, and it has a much more beneficial effect. Well, for me, I find it hydrates me more. I do use Celtic sea salt as well.
That's funny.
watch the
Yeah,
fine
because
stuff. Watch out for the fine stuff. I'm not convinced the fine stuff's good anymore. But we've just bought a big 5 kilo bag of the bigger stuff, the crystals.
Yeah, I get the lumpy stuff.
And if you put a crystal of that salt in your mouth and let it dissolve, you get a whole new level of energy as the crystal lets go of all its
But
energy.
it was just me.
No.
Good to hear from somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very special. Now, when these, okay, so I'll just give you a quick rundown on the devices that we're bringing in from the States. They're, have you heard of Victor Schauberger? He was called the water wizard. He was just an absolute genius when it came to water. That's it. That's the stuff. And so when water travels naturally down a creek, it spins in that direction, then it spins in that direction, and then it does a spin that way and back on itself. So it does all these different spins, and all of those different spins add energy to it, and it becomes structured water. Now, what these units that we're going to bring in do is exactly that. They spin the water in all the different directions. Now, have you guys come across EZ water? Exclusion zone water. Now, this is really important. So exclusion zone water is what we have in our body. We don't have water in our body. We don't have H2O in our body. The only time we have H2O water in our body is as it goes in. Our body then has to convert that H2O into H3O2. Now, in a day, the amount of energy that a person uses to do that, to convert all that water into water that the body can use, it's equivalent. If you could convert that into electricity, it would run your house lights for a month.
Oh, good grief.
That's how much energy it takes to convert the water. Now, water coming out of a spring, well, in the old days, was easy water. Now, what's coming out of these devices is easy water.
Wow.
So all of a sudden you have this enormous amount of energy that you're not using to convert your water, and therefore your body can then use that to heal itself. So straight away it takes all that pressure off your system.
Yeah, yeah.
Because in the old days, back in tribal days, we were drinking out of streams and you were getting the easy water, so we didn't have the issues.
And it was mineralized as well, you know, so we're getting some minerals out of it too. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
I have a big bugbear with fluoride because it obviously pacifies the pineal gland. And, you know, with my work, you know, if I go out to a restaurant, I don't drink the restaurant water.
no, that's right.
Take it with me everywhere I go. Yeah.
So that's why it's great to carry a ring with you, because you just put your ring on the table and you put your glass of water in it.
Or a ball.
Or a ball. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You can do that and that'll structure the water to a degree. Not to the degree that these units
Devices.
are going to do, these devices, but it's the most important thing. Remember, consciousness. Water has consciousness. It is conscious.
Yeah.
And remember, it's one of the very first things that is created on Earth from the ether, and everything else comes from water. All the rocks.
Yeah.
The plants are water.
Yeah.
We're water. All the living things, they're all water.
Well, I believe all the elements are conscious. I mean, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, I was reading in a book called, I can't stop talking about it in interviews, a book called Sand Talk, and I can never remember the Tyson something with a very unusual name, amazing gentleman. And he talks about how the, you know, original people in Australia know that the stones are all conscious.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's just so wonderful for me because I've been seeing, you know, apparitions in rock for so long, and I knew that they were communicating with me, but you wouldn't want to talk about this, but, you know, thank God we've got this crazy leftist agenda where we have to listen to the original people now. So you can start talking about it, and, you know, if people start to shout you down, you can say, well, hang on, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
The culture.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time to be alive.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to someone the other day, and a younger woman, and I was just on the phone with her, and she goes, "You sound very up." And I said, "Why wouldn't I be? I've waited 40 years to get to this place that we're at now."
That's lovely. Yeah,
we're just so, you know, this time is so exciting.
Thank you.
And if you're on track, the universe is supplying everything for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Keep doing what you have to do, which is what we've come here for.
Yeah. And it's you know, it's a 9-year as well, so everything's kind of getting completed, and anything that sort of needs to be dredged up, it's getting dredged up. So, you know, instead of freaking out about it, you think, oh, brilliant, because that'll be cleared out so that next year we start afresh and start anew.
Yeah,
beginnings.
very. That's It's very exciting.
Well, we've been
How
chatting
long?
for a while, so we
Yeah.
probably, I don't know, do you guys, are you comfortable answering a few questions if people have got a few questions?
Sure, yep.
So we'll open that up, guys. If you look at the bottom of your screen, if you don't know how to get your hand up so that you'll appear on the screen so I can see you, so that you can ask a question, you go to the reactions bar, and if you press on that, it'll give you the option of putting your hand up. If anybody's got any questions, no pressure. If you're in your gym jams, it's okay. But you will, if your video's off, you won't be able to do the reaction. You won't be able to put your hand up. It won't let you. Is anybody? Oh, yes. See, good stuff. Hello.
Hi there.
Good to
Fascinating stuff. I have a question for Russell, because he mentioned the orgone pyramids. So I have three of them dotted around the house, and I just wondered, are they actually any good? Should I get rid of them? Do I need to be wary of them? Particularly because you mentioned door.
Mm. Okay, so there's a few things. Do you feel energy?
Yes, I've become more sensitive.
So if they're pyramids, they generally have a positive and a negative, right? The negatives coming off the top, the positives flat because it's on a flat plane, right?
Yeah.
Pyramid is acting as a pyramid,
Yeah.
right? So it's drawing all this energy in and then shooting a beam out of it. So what you're going to work out is what's that positive field, which is the positive charge, which is not what you want in your body. Where's that sitting? If you've got it sitting on a table, then as you walk past that table, you're getting that positive charge from the flat field that the orgonite's throwing out. Do you understand what I mean? Like a good place to put them is actually up against the wall, because you never stand, even if you go through a door, you don't stand in the doorway.
Yeah.
You walk through. So you're only getting that other field momentarily. But if it's on a table and you're walking around the table, then you're getting it in your midriff.
Or lay it on the earth, flat on the earth.
Oh, yeah, that's the ideal, on the earth, because then it tends to be grounded to a degree.
Because sorry, carry on.
No, carry on.
Yeah, because what happens is the energy comes in and it gets stuck in this in the resin that it's made up of. So it's going to go out up the top, but it kind of gets stuck and can build up that effect, which isn't so good for the body. It can cause fatigue, stress, aging. There obviously are different ones. I'm not saying that every single one is no good, but yeah, it's something to certainly be mindful about.
Can you discharge them?
Yeah, you could probably discharge them either in water or bury them.
Yeah.
I think I've built all sorts of bits and pieces, but I always ground them.
Yeah.
So that they're grounded, so that any door that does build up can be released.
Yeah, the real worry are the ones that with the big copper tubes that you might have seen, and they sit in like a bucket of resin, and they're called cloud busters, and they work amazing initially. Or if you move them around and they're connected to water, they also work really well. But if they're just fixed in resin, they will build up door, and they can cause flooding, drought, aging, and all that stuff I mentioned before.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? Great question, Z. I'm really glad you asked that, because I've got a few of them hanging around as well, and I'm thinking,
Yeah, well, tune into them, do your pendulum work, do whatever is required to feel into it, because they are all slightly different.
And I've gone round a property where there was probably 10 of them, and half of them were all right.
Yeah.
The other half weren't. So, you got to tune in if you're going to buy these things, it's really tune right in and make sure they're good devices, and keep them clean.
yeah, beautiful. John.
Good evening.
Hi, Tess. Good to see you, John.
You too.
My Bowen was brilliant, by the way.
Oh, you feel better?
Feel better.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, look, yeah, we were over in Adelaide with Rachel and the gang and had a great time. And hi, Brad. Hi, Russell.
G'day, John. Yeah, John's got one of our devices. Nice to see you, John.
You too, mate. I've got two actually, and I've got to get out and clean them, do the Agnihotra ceremony.
Yeah.
Thanks for your instructions, Russell. They're fantastic, easy to build.
Oh,
Um,
good.
yeah. Oh, I just put in the chat a really good video. It's called Copy and Comprehend Nature, or Comprehend and Copy Nature. It's a Victor Schauberger video. It's an amazing watch if anyone wants to see it.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, look, I get a bit, I'm sort of probably, I feel the resonance of everything, but I get a bit caught up in a lot of other, I read a lot of stuff. And my belief is that when we talk about etheric energy and the energy of the effects of plasma, and I probably don't have the words to explain, what a lot of other people who've studied this for years, but when Rachel talks about the dragon ley lines becoming energized, I'm wondering, are you anyone over the fact that the reason these ley lines are becoming so energized is that the current in them is being reversed by plasma energies coming into the earth? Or am I just reading a bit too much into the New Age stuff? But I do believe that we're going through significant changes, and it's not by accident that our thoughts and our resonance just happens. It to me is a it's a direct result of plasma energy from the universe, and I believe that the reason that this is, and I'm rabbiting on a bit here, but I think that the reason that the ley lines are being energized is that they're reversing, and there's a lot of crystal energy picking up this energy. Has anyone got anything to add to that, or am I just?
No, you're good. You're good. Well, remember that the ley lines, they're not just a nebulous thing on the ground. They're high. They go quite high, the ley lines, and deep into the ground. So think about the number of power lines that run across the ley lines,
Yeah,
the number of roads that cut the ley lines.
yeah,
They're all the sort of things that I see as being disturbing to the ley lines. And I'm hoping, I don't know yet, but I'm hoping that what we're doing with putting the harmonisers on the positive ley lines and clearing the other lines that are in the earth, we're hoping that that will really help assist in cleaning those lines. And the natives are doing a lot of work with the lines at the moment. I'm fortunate enough to actually live on right next to one of the song lines.
yeah.
And so, and our harmonizer will eventually go onto that song line. And I think that that's going to make a big difference to the ley lines of the planet. And the more work we do with clearing like Haley's work, the more we do that, more people get into doing that. That's how the energy raises, like us doing the work.
Mm. Yeah. I
Even
believe that
intentional.
the Earth's ascending, and all these people here today are playing a part in the raising the vibration of the Earth. So I think the ley lines are simultaneously doing that with us. So I think it all has to happen at once for us to head to where we need to head as a collective with humanity.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, John. We'll go to
Thanks.
Karen, and then we'll probably
Thanks, John.
let these guys go. So, Karen,
Mm.
oh, darling, you're muted.
There you
Yeah.
go. Is that better? Yay. I'm very new to this. Yes, so I've done this work very long ago. I actually did like about 35 years ago. I did a workshop with Robert Coons in South Africa. And we also had a whole delegation come across from America that had, so I have my slim Sperling harmonizer, which was made by him. So that's really cool. And we've recently moved to Southeast Queensland from New South Wales, and we've been here about a year. And I wanted to get back into doing this kind of work. And literally, like 2 days ago, Rachel, you popped up in my timeline, and then I saw that this group was happening. So it's you put it out there and it comes to you straight away. But I have a question to do with stuff that's going on right now for us in this area, and that is we having I'm sure some of you may have heard about it, but the whole fire ant scenario and the government coming onto people's property and just spreading poison everywhere. And we are right in the zone. And I've already turned them away twice, but they literally come back with police and force themselves onto people's property and just spread poison anyway. And they've been spraying this stuff all over, and I'm literally on the hill above Wivenhoe Dam, and they've been spraying it all along the Brisbane River and right on the picnic areas around all the dams, all around Sunshine Coast, in the waterways. And I'm just wondering if there's something I can do physically, like maybe with my harmonizer, and maybe I can look at some of your tools that you guys are working with as well, but that I can do in my immediate vicinity to try and kind of like diffuse maybe the effects of the poison, or you know what I mean, something like that, or do some kind of work with that.
Yeah, we've got a lady up there in the Northern Rivers who is specifically targeting the fire ant problem, and she's using orgone for that because she says it seems to be neutralizing the damage that it's causing. But also, yeah, going to the water bodies and putting the balls in. So once the water's more in harmony or more structured, it can then work through its own stuff. So if it's out of whack or not resonating properly, it's going to struggle the water body. So yeah, by putting Agnihotra in the water, balls, and using orgone, it would help the water and it will help the fire ant issue as well. But it is a serious problem, and I'm sure there are other things out there that people have to assist with that. But anything else with that, Russell?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. The only other thing you could do is the blocks, but we particularly because everything's getting so hectic in that part of the world now with that level of toxins, the fact that they're spraying the sky. The levels are really building up, I think, and so we really have to get onto this big time. And I'll contemplate a whole lot of things that we've talked about tonight and see what I can come up with, because I'm really wanting to find something that we can set and forget.
Yeah.
And so you can use your intention, you can connect in with your intention to the device, even though it's a set and forget. That's sort of part of what the desert dwellers were about. Something you can take somewhere, put it, leave it, connect in with your intention regularly. Then you might go, nah, okay, I've got to move that now. Then you can take it to somewhere else. And
you've got your DNA on it, because if you touch it and you put it down there, you can remotely connect to it at any moment.
Yeah.
For a tent. And this is why they created mummies. It wasn't about, preserving a body. That was a portal to the physical world for those entities. They could come back in and out of that body whenever they wanted. So DNA allows you to connect. Anything you touch, you can connect to at any point. This is how psychometry works, where people have a ring or something from their grandmother or something, and they can connect into it. Karen, do you think there actually are any ants that are a problem? Do you think it's just
No, there's nothing. There's nothing on our property. There's nothing in this whole area. But because they have determined this borderline that they've just created, and they've said that is their exclusion zone. So that means whether you have ants or not, they're doing this like prophylactic treatment.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
And so they're literally just poisoning everything. People's animals are like dying, and birds are falling out of the sky. It's really crazy. It's just like decimating the wildlife. It's killing all the ants, not just the ants they're targeting. But there's no red ants, there's no fire ants in our area at all. And even on the Sunshine Coast, there's no ants in the areas that they're targeting. And the places that do have them, and people are begging them to come and eradicate them, they're not going there.
No, because it's probably about a land grab or something.
It's all about the money. I mean, it's basically that, they're making so much money from the companies that are supplying the poisons, and they're just trying to get rid of. And now there's new legislation, from what I've heard, that's coming through that might ban some of the substances that are in it. So they are literally just trying to get rid of as much as they can before that kicks in.
Disgusting, isn't it? It's just infuriating. The reason I asked,
it's crazy.
And you answered my question by saying they're killing the other ants. So Hayley explained burrowing animals, insects that burrow, cicadas and things, they like the negatively affecting ley lines. So they produce a frequency to balance, harmonise. So that could be part of what they're doing as well. I mean, everything any Freemasons do has something to do with energy and misery on an energetic level as well as all the other levels. Thank you very much. Brilliant question. And thank you for the questions tonight. So appreciate you guys coming on, 100%. Thank you, Billy, as always. How do people find you guys? I know you've obviously shown your website, but if you just want to tell us what it is again and where your socials are.
Yeah, okay. So it's /NHS Greenclean on Telegram, or www.natureharmonystations.org. We've got a YouTube channel, which is / with the icon, and at Team Water Clean. So my email is info@nhsgreenclean.org, and please contact us if you have any information. You'll also find us at what's the event we're doing there? The Soul and Science Festival.
Soul Science. Yeah.
Yeah, Soul and Science Festival up there in the Northern Rivers. We'll be speaking after Hayley Wallace at the Cosmic Consciousness Conference, and also where else are we going to be?
Living Free
Festival. Possibly we were there last year, so we'll see how we go. But
I'm expecting.
So
cool.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and Rachel for having us, and Hayley for making it happen.
Yeah.
For Billy for facilitating, and Billy, we'll get you some of those tensor rings, those intentional rings
thank
as well.
you. Yeah, legends. Thank you.
No worries.
Well, Brad, can you email me all of those links so that when we put this out, I make sure that I've got them right and exactly the ones that you want to share.
Yep.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Thank you
Thanks
so much.
for coming on, guys. Really love you
guys
coming on.
Thank you.
Living Free.
Yeah. Thank you for
All
having
the
us.
best.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
So much.
Bye.
Bye.